I am a Star Wars fan. I love the universe, I love the characters, I love the stories.
But Josh,
One might say,
the sequel trilogy was utter garbage, like, for real. They fly now?
They fly now!
Disney has ruined this franchise, how can you still love it?
well, that's the thing. Nobody likes change. I slightly remember moving from Berlin, 5 hours away from my friends and extended family. It was hard, but now there are so many reasons that make me happy we moved. Same thing with Star Wars. Yes, the sequel trilogy was not the strongest piece of media that Star Wars put out, but was it really that bad? Did the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi shows really suck? Is there truly no hope left for this franchise? When The Force Awakens released in 2015, I was incredibly hyped. It was the first new thing of Star Wars I had seen in a while. At that time, I hadn't yet seen the Clone Wars animated show or Star Wars Rebels, mind you. Those two shows would still take a while until I watched them. My friend and I went to the cinema and watched it pretty much on the day of release, and we loved it. It was so awesome to see Han Solo and Chewbacca again, to be back to the universe we had grown up with. We even brought plastic lightsabers to fight afterwards. It was amazing. The Last Jedi released while I was in Canada, and I wouldn't be able to watch it for another 2 years, but when I sat down to dive back into the franchise, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it was Star Wars after all, but I fully enjoyed Episode 8, and when The Rise of Skywalker hit theaters, my family and I went to watch it. I was so incredibly hyped to see Rey's lightsaber light up in a color we hadn't ever seen in live action, and the implications of how this franchise could continue. But month after month, day after day, I heard more and more people complain.
They have already destroyed what George Lucas created, and they now are done with that. They've burned it to the ground, they've destroyed all the characters, and they want to now create their own stories, move on with the IP that George created, which Disney bought, so their IP now, but originally created by George, and they want to use the fundamental mechanics of Star Wars to create their own junk going forwards.
You know, I think it's time that we come to terms with the fact that Star Wars is dying.
When Disney Plus released in Germany in 2020, I was so hyped to watch the newest addition to the Star Wars collection, The Mandalorian, a show so different from what Star Wars fans were used to. And many fans agreed. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni had redeemed Star Wars by giving us something 1,000 times better than the sequels. It seems like every single time something new comes to the Star Wars movie and shows pool, people complain. Things like, this isn't what George Lucas would have wanted. Or, they're losing the essence of what Star Wars should be, are among the nicer things fans say. I'm well aware that I had to plan carefully what to say and what not. I didn't want to offend anyone or start a huge debate on whether or not Disney's Star Wars is good, but I have to ask this. Isn't Star Wars supposed to expand the imagination? Isn't it okay for characters in a different time than the characters we already know to act different, to live different, to have developed different skills in the Force? George Lucas himself said, right or wrong, this is my movie, this is my decision, and this is my creative vision. And if people don't like it, they don't have to see it. George Lucas made Star Wars to inspire. And I don't feel like the newer Star Wars media isn't inspiring. Just alone thinking about the closure Obi-Wan got in his show about Anakin joining the Empire and turning to the dark side. Obi-Wan had thought that he was the reason, that he had destroyed Anakin. But Vader tells him that he had done that himself. Looking at Rey, who didn't know where she came from, but didn't let herself be defined by her past once she found out that she was Palpatine's granddaughter. Seeing Kylo Ren do the right thing after trying to follow in his grandfather's footsteps for so many years. If you don't like what Disney is putting out for Star Wars, then don't watch it. I personally am excited when there's a new piece of Star Wars media coming out. Even for Andor, I was excited. I had no idea why they would have to make an entire show on a character who showed up in a single movie and died at the end of it, but I still wanted to watch it. And it was pretty good. Today, the new Ahsoka show released. A show that could either bring back a ton of fans or keep them away from this franchise forever. As of recording, I haven't seen it yet, but I have full faith in Dave Filoni, the creator of the amazing Clone Wars animated show, that he has made a banger show with this. And even if it flops, which I hope is not the case, as I love the character of Ahsoka Tano, I will still look out for the next movie, or the next show. Heck, even if they release a musical. Why? Because I am a Star Wars fan, and I love this universe for what it is. A fictional world with compelling characters and amazing stories. Thanks for watching.